Hi guys, thanks for coming back and joining me for another video. So where to start? Yes, I am unfortunately going back on what I said at the end of Monday's video, and that was I wasn't going to talk about Harry's memoirs because we all needed a break. But there's been so much stuff that's come out, so many interviews. I need to stay on top of it because you have got to see it, to hear it for yourself, to believe it. I have literally been in shock. And like I've titled this video, it's all been a dream. It's like Dallas. Dallas was a show started in 1978, an American TV series. Yes, when we look at it now, very, very cheesy, but it was big, it was huge, it ran for 14 seasons. My mother was a keen watcher of it. Now, one of the dreamy, hunky guys in there was Bobby Ewing, and at the end of season 8, he was killed in a hit and run that turned the show into a massive whodunit murder mystery. There were tears all around the world because he had been killed off. A year later, at the beginning of season 9, his ex-wife wakes up in bed and hears water running in the bathroom. She goes in there, and who is in the shower? None other than Bobby, who turns round, and they have written him back into the TV show by saying the last year, the entire season that everyone had watched and dedicated their time to, the murder mystery included, whodunit, was all a dream. It was the ultimate gaslighting episode to ever air on a TV show. People's brains were blown apart, including the other actors on the show. Now, this reference, this is what Harry is doing. Harry is doing his very own Bobby in the shower moment, because he is not only walking back accusations that he did a matter of weeks ago. Obviously, as I said Monday, there's lots of inconsistencies. Well, some of this stuff is just completely like, how can he say that that didn't happen when we've got interviews of him actually saying it? So let's talk about things that have come up that are pretty big. Firstly, Harry has walked back on the fact that he bragged about killing 25 members of the Taliban. Yes, he has walked that one right back, and apparently it is the media that have spun that narrative, not Harry's own words in his own memoirs. Secondly, we have the fact, which I did briefly discuss in Monday's video, that Prince William did not, in fact, have Harry as a best man. Thirdly, we have got Camilla is no longer a very much loved stepmother. She is now a dangerous villain that left bodies in her wake. I know, ooh, the drama. We have also then got the biggest jaw-dropping, groundbreaking moment. No, not the cover of People magazine, where Harry is now brightly blue-eyed with a thatch of brunette hair that scouring pads across the entire United Kingdom will be jealous of. Yes, he's no longer ginger and heavily thatched on top like he was on Time magazine. Now we have a brown-haired, blue-eyed Harry, but we're just meant to let this go on by. But no, the big jaw-dropping, groundbreaking moment, the ultimate gaslighting that has caused literally everyone to go, what? You can hear Oprah screaming from Montecito, what? From the top of her very lungs, because Harry has said that he and Meghan have never, ever accused the royal family of racism. Yes, I kid you not. For those of you that have been under a rock for the last 48 hours, this is Harry's narrative. Poof. So yes, Harry is pulling his very own Bobby in the shower moment. It is a legendary level of gaslighting. He's even managed to knock Amber Heard off the gaslighting perch, or throne, as we might say in this case. So I'm going to start and try and break down some of these bad boys for you. Before we get too into it though, I want to discuss the fact that one of the really random stuff that's come out is Harry has mentioned Princess Diana a lot. If he's talking about his penis, Princess Diana gets a mention. Yeah, I kid you not joking. He talks about when he had a frozen penis after doing his walk in Antarctica at Catherine and William's wedding, and someone turned around and said, put Elizabeth Arden cream on it.
My penis was oscillating between extremely sensitive and borderline traumatized. The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan. I'd been trying some home remedies, including one recommended by a friend. She'd urged me to apply Elizabeth Arden cream. My mum used that on her lips. You want me to put that on my todger? It works, Harry, trust me. I found a tube, and the minute I opened it, the smell transported me through time. I felt as if my mother was right there in the room. Then I took a smidge and applied it. Down there.
Should have left that little bit out of that paragraph, Harry. But another weird one. All of you that got, the generation that got the first ever Xbox, It's all a dream. You didn't get those Xboxes then. No, 4 years beforehand. I had to count them. 4 years. 4 years beforehand. That's what Harry's doing to me. Just making my brain go whoop. 4 years before the Xbox even came out, Princess Diana gave Harry one. Now, there's so many things that have come out where Harry seems to be completely confused. Oh, another one I didn't mention. His great-grandmother, the Queen Mother, when she passed, Harry has said in the book that he was alone in Eton. It was Easter because, you know, Harry didn't spend any time with his family. Remember, he's the spare. Only William got to go home with his family. And he said he remembers the sunlight coming in through the window, and he got a phone call from, I don't remember whose voice it was. It was just a member of staff, a courtier. Yes, and not even a family member, and told him that his great-grandmother had died. This is obviously feeding into the narrative of poor Harry. He was pushed out. His family didn't love him. He wasn't even told that his great-grandmother was sick. Problem being is, Harry was on a skiing holiday, publicised, photographed, when they got the news. He was with Prince William and King Charles, and they were on a skiing holiday in Switzerland, photographic evidence galore. And when they got the phone call that she was gravely ill, they flew back. There's photographs of them arriving back in the UK when they had found out that she had sadly passed. Quite the different version of events to Harry being alone, and not even a family member had the decency to call him to tell him that his great-grandmother had died. Victim narrative number 1. Now, obviously, I explained the best man one in more detail on Monday's video, but Harry basically had turned around and said that he was not best man at William's wedding. No, it was all a dream, folks. It didn't really happen. This all boils down to the simple fact that Harry, who gave a speech at his brother's wedding, got so upset that 2 of Prince William's friends, who were not part of the ceremony, gave their own speeches. Yes, other people gave speeches at the wedding. And Harry has turned around and said that it made the entire narrative that he was best man a bare-faced lie. Now, again, I'm not being funny. This is like the memoirs of a child. It's like that kid on the playground that says, I'm not your friend anymore. You spoke to him. I don't like him. That is the level of what we are reading through this book. In fact, that's possibly insulting to children, because I'm sure there are probably 12-year-old children out there that would tell Harry to man the hell up. It's not any wonder, really, that memes such as this, yes, quite funny, and this are coming out thick and fast. It is true, Harry is trying to blow up his family, but in fact, what he's actually doing is blowing up himself. The fact that he brought up his late great aunt bought him a biro pen with a fish wrapped around it as a grievance for a Christmas present, when the royal family famously give each other joke presents. The fact that he's held on to this memory and he's trying to say that she didn't like me at all. He's brought up Lupo, the dog. That he also hated Harry and Meghan because he barked at them. Harry, it's a dog. So I'm going to say, choo-choo, all aboard to Crazy Town. Let's go. Now let's get to the lovely Queen Camilla, who is now an evil villain. In part of the theme of It's All Been a Dream, I'd like you to watch this clip.
No, she is, she's a wonderful woman, and she's made our father very, very happy, which is the most important thing. William and I love her to bits. Get on really well with her. And as far as I see it, nothing's changed.
No, folks, we all dreamt it. That interview did not happen. Or if it did, we're soon to find out that Catherine was actually stood behind the cameraman with a shotgun aimed at Harry's crown jewels, making him say those words. Yes, the very same boy that said, I love my stepmother to bits, is now calling her a dangerous villain. So I'm going to go with what I do here with the bunny ears. For those of you that don't get why I do that, that's just air quotes. I am quoting directly from him, and I saw someone do this years ago with about the bunny ears, and I'm just sticking with it. So let's get on with what Harry actually said. She was the villain. She was the third person in their marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image, and this made her dangerous because she was forming friendships with the press. She was trading information in an attempt to get more positive stories written about her. There was open willingness on both sides to trade information, and with a family built on hierarchy, and with her on the way to being Queen Consort, there was going to be people or bodies left in the street. Camilla sacrificed me on her personal PR altar. So yes, Harry is saying that he was in fact one of the bodies left in the streets in Camilla's wake of going after the crown. I mean, talk about evil villain from a Disney film. They are living inside films now. This is absolutely crazy. Harry feels that Charles and Camilla were selling stories or giving stories to the press about him. This was so that they could better their own coverage. So it's not just Camilla, it's obviously King Charles as well. They were selling stories on, you know, her stepson and Charles's own son, who he loves, to the media to make themselves look better. Bearing in mind when Charles and Camilla got married, and there's only ever been negative stories about Harry since after his relationship formed with Meghan Markle. So it just absolutely destroys everything that he's saying. And the fact that he's talking about his family leaking about him here, he has just recently thrown Courtney Cox under a bus by saying he went to a house party at Courtney Cox's house in 2016, and Courtney just happens to have psychedelic drugs, mushrooms, black diamond mushrooms that are there for all of the guests to take. And it's like, there is a very good reason why Hollywood is shutting the doors on him thick and fast. You know, he's literally just told the world that Courtney Cox is basically a supplier of psychedelic mushrooms to the guests that come round her house. I can't imagine he's going to be on her Christmas card list. Now, in further melodramatic proof that Camilla is truly the evil, wicked stepmother, she did something so awful, I want you guys to grab your tissues. When Harry moved out of his father's house, Camilla turned Harry's bedroom into her own personal dressing room. Are you for real? I mean, what did he expect them to do? Leave his bedroom as a shrine? I mean, I have heard of teenagers having tantrums. They've gone to college or university and then they've got upset that their parents have turned it into like an art room or something like that. But again, these are referring back to children. Harry is complaining about this as a nearly 40-year-old grown-ass man. And it's ridiculous that you're just in between the shocking stuff. I'm just like, how did J.R. Mooringer, the ghostwriter, sit there and write down what Harry was saying and think, I'm going to put this into a book? Now, given that J.R. Mooringer has recently liked a tweet bashing the book, it is definitely adding fuel to that fire that he quit or he was fired from it, because as I said before, it does read like excerpts from Finding Freedom. It's got Meghan's stamp all over it, hasn't it? 1 minute, Harry is talking about his family gave these stories to the media. His family peddled all of these stories and these leaks about him. And in the next breath, he's saying, oh, my family parroted all of the stories that the media had made up. They believed the narrative that the media were trying to sell. And you're like, okay, so your family made it up and gave it to the press, or the press made it up and then your family believed the stories in the press? The poor fool, and I will call him a fool here, idiot. He cannot grasp, he cannot fathom when all of these leaks started happening. He can't quite grasp why is it, or when was it, that childhood friends, long-term family friends, family members, staff members, people that had known Harry since he was a teenager, people that had gone on holiday with Harry, why is it that they all of a sudden started turning on him and selling stories on him to the media? Why is it that Harry never had any of these leaks, these paparazzi shots, until he started dating Meghan? Even an amoeba would go, ooh, hang on a minute, wait a minute. My life started getting flipped and turned upside down. Yes, quote the Fresh Prince. But yeah, my life got completely torn apart from when I started dating Meghan. There is a common denominator. So now we're on to the absolute mind-blowing. Let's break down and discuss the fact that Harry has turned around and said that the royal family are not racist. In fact, when Tom Bradby turned around and said, do you not feel that this was racism? Harry's like, no. And he gets all like, woo! Someone's got their panties in a bunch. Did Meghan ever tell you that? And Tom Bradby's like, yeah, on Oprah. Harry's like, no, having lived in that family, I can tell you that they are not racist. And that comment to do with Archie's skin colour was not, in fact, racism. And they double down, or he doubles down a little bit more and turns around and says, and this has got certain people losing their minds, which is hilarious. He says that he loves Lady Susan Hussey and he knows her and knows what she meant to say, and she was not racist in what she said to Marlene from Hackney or Ngozi Fulani. So you can imagine all of these big media personalities, old shouty Shola, have lost their damn minds going, no, he's wrong. Okay, so he's just undone your narrative that you were loving and pushing. But the fact that Harry has turned around and said this is just truly remarkable. It's not the fact that, okay, maybe something might have been misconstrued as he tries to play it calmly. No, it's not unconscious bias. You've quite clearly accused the royal family of racism, and the fact that you never spoke out. It's nearly 3 years later, Harry and Meghan have never called out the accusations that were then thrown at the royal family because of that Oprah interview. Also, the big, huge thing here as well, on December the 7th, just gone, I'd like to point out, Harry and Meghan attended New York and went to the Ripple of Hope Gala, right? Kerry Kennedy gave them an award for taking a heroic stand against structural racism within the institution. They went to the oldest institution, the royal family, and told them that racism basically was not okay. They went there knowing that, accepted that award, gave a speech on stage. Harry and Meghan have known of the fallout of that Oprah interview for years. Meghan even brought up the fact that the royal family and the public were racist in her podcast several times when she was talking about the archetypes or the stereotypes to do with the angry black woman. She makes a lot of references that because she was opinionated, she got labelled as an angry black woman. She definitely fed that narrative. Harry, even like I said, on the US version, the 60 Seconds, he turns around and says Meghan was treated differently because she's American, because she was an actress, because she's black, and then goes because she's biracial. So you're saying that your wife got treated differently. A lot of the bad treatment your wife had is due to the fact that she is biracial, that her mother is black. That is racism. That's not unconscious bias. The same as saying they weren't going to give Archie titles. They weren't going to give him security. Meghan sat there on Oprah, and Oprah said, do you feel basically this is to do with they had concerns of Archie, you know, his skin colour? So this is Meghan. I'll give you an honest answer. In those months when I was pregnant, all around the same time, he wasn't to be given security. He's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born. When Oprah questioned Meghan, so they were concerned that if he were too brown, that would be a problem. Meghan, I wasn't able to follow up with why, but if that's the assumption you are making, I think that is a pretty safe one. So you have told Oprah, thus the world, that Archie was going to be treated differently because he is biracial, because he might come out a little bit brown. As I said, no one gave a shit about the petty arguments with Meghan on Oprah. The world went mad. Royal racist. There's a royal racist within the family. The fact that Harry and Meghan took the time to have a statement done to say that the Queen and Prince Philip were not the royal racist. But you didn't say there wasn't a royal racist. No, you still continued with lots of other interviews since. I will never name that person, that conversation. Is that because maybe that conversation didn't happen? Or is it the fact that they know that there was no racial undertones with their treatment of, you know, being in the royal family? Another thing that we dreamt as well, which I forgot to mention, shame on me, was the fact that Harry said, it's all completely changed. We all dreamt the fact that Harry and Meghan wanted to be half in, half out, that they wanted to remain working members of the royal family in Canada, and they wanted to still work for the Commonwealth, work for the Queen, service and duty. Yes, no, we dreamt all of that. Harry has now changed it, that they ran for their lives. Yes, it's got even stronger than Harry saying they were on a freedom flight. Now they ran from the UK with their lives. So you going on holiday to Canada because you were having a break with Archie, all of the stories that came out that you were going to live in Canada, you were half in, half out. The Sussex Royal, their own website, their own Instagram account, gave a list of demands to say, we are going to remain working royals, but part-time. We will pick and choose basically what events we're going to have. We will keep Frogmore. We will be internationally protected people. We will keep this. We will keep that. And now they ran for their lives. Oh, even the drama llamas out there in the world are going, what? Where has this come from? And a bit that really made me chuckle here was Harry was having a conversation with Charles about leaving, right? And he's begging Charles, saying, please, Meg and I don't care about perks. We care about working, serving, and staying alive. His Netflix documentary, I mean, several episodes of that were dedicated to calling the royal family racist, that it was the Empire 2.0. Harry has had years to talk about it when Catherine and William got embarrassed on their Royal Caribbean tour, when the narrative, they were racist. And anybody that was pushing this narrative, anyone that had ever called the royal family racist, it all came from what they said on the Oprah interview. So for Harry to say that they have never called them, their family are not racist, it makes you think, it's not. I did not make this up. You are gaslighting me. I saw Oprah. I've seen the TV documentaries. I've listened to the podcast. I've read the books. I've seen the magazine articles. Yes, you did. And then even if you're saying, okay, I didn't mean it that way, you never did anything to correct the narrative. No, Harry exclaims, Meg and I did not say that. It was the British press that ran with that narrative. Again, the British press, they are absolutely the worst evil monsters in the world. His hatred and loathing for the British media that have quite clearly done a lot to cover up for Harry his entire life is truly mind-blowing. To even accuse them now of saying that they've now endangered his and Meghan's life, you know, with the hate preachers, with the retaliation by the Taliban and stuff. He was the one that put that in the book. He was the one that said it. He was the one that compared the taking of human lives to a chessboard, to computer games, to removing goodies and baddies. It's truly mind-blowing stuff. For anyone that's ever attacked the royal family with this racism narrative, it's blown it apart. It's blown it out of the water. Harry has sunk his own battleship. Needless to say, his privilege of being adopted by the black community, it's been revoked. His membership has been revoked. People are furious. Even, as I said, the real woke liberal agenda people that have supported Harry and Meghan purely on the basis of the royal family were racist to him, they are now fuming. You cannot backpedal on allegations of racism. You cannot dial it back. And people are now saying to Harry, well, does that mean that he's saying that Meghan lied? Is Harry saying that Meghan lied on Oprah? Because that's certainly how it's coming across. He's not backed up his wife with anything throughout this book or the interviews. Harry is the one that has completely damaged his own arguments and his reputation even further. He is now about as popular as Prince Andrew. Yet again, no accountability for anything that he's said. It's his own memoirs. Never before have I ever seen anyone do a book tour after their own memoirs, which is about the man that I have become, turn around and say every single day that a segment of their writing, or rather their words, come out, turn around and say, I didn't say that, that's been taken out of context. No, I didn't mean it that way. Well, then you shouldn't have put it in the book that way, should you? I'll be honest with you guys, with everything that's happening, with every storyline that's coming out, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm going to have to seriously check with my local coffee shop that when I get my latte, they're not slipping me a shot of something psychedelic in there, because I feel like I am in one big Alice in Wonderland. And when it comes to listening and reading about Harry and all of these stories that are coming out, which are completely brand new, they're completely fabricated, he's completely talking a different version of reality to what was merely, in some cases, a mere weeks ago or mere hours ago from separate interviews. So he didn't say what he said. In fact, what he said, he didn't say. And everything that he said happened didn't happen. And everything that's happening now isn't happening after all. Lewis Carroll, eat your heart out. So all I've got to say on this, if this is one big dream, it's a bad one. So please, guys, someone, please someone, just wake me up. I'm over this. I can't deal with this for much longer. So guys, I will be back with you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.
If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love Taz.